Hello everyone, Zelleranth here, and if you watched my stream earlier, you'll know that I ended up pulling Scarlet. And main reason that I went for her was I got really lucky on the memory trace and got it on that first 10 pull. And just because I got that memory trace, I decided I'm going to go for her after I tested her out a little bit. And man, she is definitely worth it. I was completely just using her. She's extremely good, especially on just wiping out a boss insanely quickly. Blows it out of the water. And so with getting her now, and then I also pulled a bunch on getting some memory traces. So I actually have a bunch of SSRs now because I pulled to get this Blood Reveria one out of the standard as well, because this is one of her core pieces. And then whenever I run the Nexus, I just ended up borrowing. So when I go with her, I ended up borrowing the other core that she needs, which I believe is don't see Dusk Radiance right here. So I borrowed that one, which is their other core one, which is what you should do with this because you can borrow at least one memory trace. And so it worked out really well with getting her, but it is going to change kind of my priorities and kind of how I want to pull. So if we kind of look at the historical list here, we can kind of see how things will kind of change for how I want to pull. So when we look at this, we can see that right now Scarlet is out. We should be seeing Bali Tusu at some point. If you haven't played the event yet, when you get into it, you will actually get to use him a little bit because he's part of the event alongside Scarlet. And so you can get a feel for his kit there. I still think I'm probably going to end up skipping him at this point, just because he's not going to do enough to make him like a good part of the fighter team, especially when I'm going to go more for using elemental synergy. So either it's going to be lightning for getting some explosion, or you can maybe use ice to get some like vapor. So kind of have to see there. So I'm still thinking I'm going to have to skip him because my pulls are now pretty limited. I have 200 pulls total, but that would include the ones for going for memory traces as well as Echomancers. And so Echomancers are going to be the priority there. And I do know I'll get another, we are halfway through the 30 days, so I know I'm getting another 50 pulls on both the Echomancers and the memory traces. So I have about 300 pulls if you want to go that way, with one guaranteed memory trace still available. But I definitely think I'm skipping him. And so then what we have after that is we have Skylar, which is one that I was saying let's go for, then Boreas, and then Feng Qingshu. Those were like the three big ones that were going to come back to back for me. And that was why I was originally going to skip Scarlet. Now, when we go and look at the tier list, we can kind of see how I might be changing things here. All right, so looking at the tier list, I have Scarlet, who is going to be kind of she is the main carry for Wind. And like I had originally mentioned before, if you're wanting to do Wind, she's the main carry for it because there's really no Wind DPSs coming anytime soon, like a main 5-star one. Now, one thing you will want that you pretty much need with her to maximize her damage is you're going to need Shiratori Azusa, as I was discussing with a member within my chat. And yeah, once you play her skill and you have the correct skills for memory traces for Scarlet, she just literally melts bosses. When I ran my Nexus at the very end of the last boss, and then I just kind of did that combo with them, and she just, it literally took like 30 seconds. She just melted him that first hit, then he came back, and then she literally, on her second single target attack, just melted him. Like, she demolishes bosses. And so you pair her with her, and then you can have some of the other Wind units as needed there, and you can kind of build teams. But the two core ones are going to be her, Shiatora and Scarlet. So I have that. So I'm actually now debating on skipping Skylar. And that might open up the possibility of actually just skipping the lightning water altogether, because I want to focus on getting possibly the Wind now. Because now that I have those, I think Elpis is going to be a must get down the line. Now she's quite a bit of ways away. But she's extremely good on that buffing and supporting role, so almost certain I'm going to have to get her now because I'm going that Wind route. And she's really good with other teams as well. She doesn't have to be only with Wind, but she'll be really good with that team. That doesn't hurt me going on the ice side of things in the summon, because this still lets me get Boreas and Feng Qingshu. It just would mean that I would be skipping Skylar if my pulls don't go the way I want. And so down the line, I may skip Jean and Uni. So what does that open up? So if I don't decide to not go with the lightning or water, then I have quite a few that I can skip there since they need a lot of units kind of in their team. Now ice can go well with fire because they have the elemental reaction of vapor. And so I could potentially want to pick up Thea and kind of get the rest of the fire units. And then I'll get those ice units and then they can kind of work together as a core comp there. And then eventually down the line, since I have Laurel, I could potentially go targeting Lailani, who will be another big important member for the Corrosion team. And Soulbird is another one that you can get within that Corrosion team. So it's kind of opening up my options a little bit because if I skip Skylar, that gives me 2 units that I'm skipping. I'll definitely have enough to get Boreas and Fen Qingshu, so I'll be fine on getting those units. After that, I have a unit I'm going to be skipping. Then comes up Thea. I can get Thea now over the fire side of things, and then we have Uni. So now I'd be skipping Uni, so that gives me another banner I can skip right there. And then that leads into Lailani, which is that Corrosion member. And after Lailani, you have Titania, and she is that one that can kind of, as a general, can pretty much use most elements and cause a lot of the reactions. She's kind of on that potential skip list for me, but she is one that I would like to get. So I could get her or skip her. And if I did that, then we have Jean, which I would be skipping now in this case. So after Lailani, that might give me 2 banners I could skip there. And then that leads into the big one here on the tier list, which would be Elpis. And she'll be the next core of my win team. And then after her, kind of leads into another one of the Corrosion members here, Soulbird, which I would try and pull over him as well for my Corrosion side of things. And then after that, and in this area, this is when we're starting to see some of these original units come back. So like we have Scarlet right here. We've seen Boreas coming back, Skylar. So we're starting to see the repeats of other debut units coming at this point. And then after him, we have Tishi, which is another lightning. I'd probably skip her since I'm not getting lightning. Then you have Midas. I'd want to go for Midas for my summon team. And that's kind of where CN's currently at this point. I mean, there's new units coming out up here that I haven't really looked into too much. But this new situation, by instead of going and investing into the lightning and water, as you can see, gives me a lot of pull over unit, skip a unit, pull over unit, skip unit, pull over unit, skip unit. So it's going to pace them out so that I'm going to have a better amount of time to stockpile pulls to better guarantee that I get all the units that I want. And so, I mean, the main big teams that I wanted in the beginning doesn't change at all, which is going to be that ice team with Fen Qingshu, as well as the summon side of things. The only thing that's really ultimately I'm looking at changing is no longer getting that lightning water, and instead investing more on the wind side of things. And then I can also pick up some of the Corrosion units to kind of complement my Corrosion team, depending on my pull luck. I mean, if my pull luck's bad, I think Lailani would be like the first one that I would skip that I kind of want down the road. Same thing with Titania. I want her because she can do pretty much all the elements and is pretty much good in any other team, but I think she'll be one that I can skip or make a skip if my luck's not the best, because I'll definitely, for the win side of things, want to get Elpis. And so from there, I mean, it seems like I'd be in a good situation now to get all the units I want and actually have a good order of banners that I'm pulling on. Because now that I am pulling on pretty much a banner every other time. So to me, it'll work out that way. And like I was saying before, I was completely wrong on Scarlet. She is a boss killer, but she also has done really well, I've seen, on AoE scenarios with her AoE attacks. But she just demolishes bosses when you have the right setup. There's no, she out damages my singing by a significant amount when it comes to boss killing. So that are some of my changes to my pull priorities and some of my thoughts behind them. Some of these team comps that I'm seeing can get some crazy damage. Talking with people on my stream today was seeing that the CN side of things has some insane comps that you can do with these members, where you take a full 8-man team of 8 people, and then you're cycling them in and out to stack all the correct buffs and debuffs, so someone like Scarlet can come in there and do even more insane damage and just melt a boss and like one tap them like nothing. But yeah, that was just kind of the interesting day in the stream. I'm gonna try and put a compilation of all my polling I did on stream together in one video. We'll see if I get that out probably in a couple days. I forgot to record it, so I'm gonna have to download it from YouTube, which will take about a day. But I'll get that, and then I'm gonna put out a video that just compiles all the polls I did, because I kind of jumped around when I did them. You can kind of see how it worked out there. But yeah, if anyone was hesitating on Scarlet based on some of my things I was looking at before, just reading the skills, I don't think her skills did her justice on that. I mean, I knew it was huge numbers here, so I knew she was a boss killer. But it just, when you start compiling it with all the skills that you have available to her, when you have all the memory traces and the right skills built around her, it just goes off the chart on the damage. So definitely a great unit to get, and she is going to be one you have to get if you want to do the win side of things, because there is no other win DPS coming. And the one that we currently have on the SR, Shiratori, is actually works right alongside her. You basically have to keep these two together to do that big damage. But yeah, to kind of end it here, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.